How many session tracking methods are there? 4. First one, cookies. Second one, URL rewriting. Third one, HTTP sessions. Fourth one, hidden form fields. First one, can we implement independently? Yes. Second one, third one, no. Third one, depending on either first or second. HTTP sessions with cookies. And next, HTTP sessions with URL rewriting. First one completed, second one completed, third one in that first one, cookies not completed, just started. One more program we have tried. HTTP sessions with cookies you are learning. In first session tracking method, client state information, where it is stored? Browser memory. Second session tracking method, appended to URL. Third one, server. In first one, is it ID created? No. Second one, third one, that ID, if you use cookies, stored in browser. If you use URL creating, appended to URL. Now, with cookies you are learning. In that, this set session program completed. Get session we have tried. Right click, new, servlet. Session 2. Set session. Sorry, get session. Set session completed. No? Get session. Next. Edit. Get. Okay. Next. Which type of request coming? Get. So do get. Here. This program, cookies program diagram, this is. Now, what I did is, this information I stored in server variables. This information stored in server. From server, we are retrieving. This is called session. If you add here client system, cookie. If you are storing in a browser memory means cookie. If you are storing in server memory means session. Okay. Now, this information I am storing in server. From server, we are retrieving. Here also HTTP session reference required to call setter method, set attribute. Here also HTTP session required to call get attribute method. Now, in this case, this is required or this is required, you give me answer. You studied HTTP session HS1 equal to request dot get session. Like this you can write. True also you can write. And HTTP session HS2 equal to request dot get session. Like this, we can write one more way. HTTP session HS3 equal to request dot get session false. Now, if you write true or if you write without parameter, both are same. This is required or this is required. Think yourself and give me answer. First one required, second one required. True required or false required? False required. Because this session only we are accessing here. It should not create another session. Whatever we created that session only required for us. So what we required? False required. So HTTP session HS equal to request dot get session. Get session false. Okay. Here, whatever is created in set session here, in this case we written like this. Now one new request comes. That session is not there. What it will do? It creates new one and returns. But in this case, and one request comes, session is not there. What will happen? It will return null. Because if already existed session required, here no need to create new session. Already books are there, you have to return. Books are not there, no need to return. No. That is the reason false required here. After this, get attribute method you have to call. Here, parameter string, I passed string. Here, parameter object, I passed string. How it is valid here? Last class I explained. Upcasting. Here, get attribute method is going to return. Get attribute method is going to return object. We required string. Then, is it upcasting or downcasting? It is returning object. Object assigned to string. It is up or down? Down. Downcasting must be done by programmer explicitly. So, string. HS dot get attribute. HS dot get attribute. Attribute name. Book 1. Like this only. String S2 equal to string HS dot get attribute book 2. String S3 string HS dot get attribute. Attribute name is book 3. Book 1, book 2, book 3. Okay. After this, here object is there, hash code stored. Object is not there, null stored. This is hash code or null. How to check? With operator or method? Operator. So if S1 not equal to null, we have to print pw dot println S1. If S2 not equal to null, that print writer we have to create pw dot println S2. Here only one statement, braces also not required. Without brace also was possible, no? If S3 not equal to null, pw dot println S3. Here print writer pw equal to response dot get writer. pw.println. HTML code you can add. Selected books. After printing, new line required. If you add HTML code, compulsory line break required. After this, body close, HTML close. See, here, instead of cookies, I'm using session. This data I'm storing in server system. Now, these are called session variables. This data I retrieved. Okay. Now, here true I written, here false I written. If you don't write any parameter, that will be treated as true only. That is same. Both are given say already. Suppose client new request comes. New request comes. Here there is no existed session. What this will do? It creates a new session. That is written. After that, control comes here. Control comes here. If there is a session, what it will do? It returns existed session. If not there, what it will do? Returns null. Suppose if I write true here, then what will happen? Again creates a new session. If session is created here, no use. Here creation required, that session will access here. But here created means that ID wasted. That session ID is wasted. So, if you write true, existed session is there, it returns. Not there, creates a new session. False if you write, existed session is there, creates, returns. Not there, returns null. Because here if session ID created, that ID wasted. Further next program is not there. That ID wasted. Okay. So that's what here true required, here false required. When new request comes, what it will do? It will check the existed session. Not there. New session created. After that, control comes here. Already existed session will be there. That session only return. And if not there, null returns. That is the reason here true required, here false required. That's what set session. Here you are not writing any parameter, that is also equivalent to true only. You are passing one parameter false. This is false, another type. Whenever new request comes here, what will happen? Session is not there. It returns null. Then here null pointer exception comes. If null is there, without if hash code is not there, you cannot call methods. Null will be there. Null pointer exception comes. Here books are there, required. Books are not there, not required. That is the reason we have to write like this only. Suppose if you write true, now also program works. But suppose by mistake directly this program, if you execute directly from browser, session will not be there. Then what it will do? Session creates. That ID wasted. That is the reason it is best option. False. False is a best option. Okay. Now here This last class you have seen. Here object will be their actual parameter. We passed string. String assigned to object. It is upcasting. Here object explicitly converted to string. Downcasting. There upcasting, here downcasting. Upcasting and downcasting. If you want to do downcasting, up required. Up already completed in this program. Here up completed. Here down. That's not valid. See, if I run this program, run on server, save. Books.html. Say, select the books, submit. Your books are added to cart. Next, say selected books. Now, where these books are stored? Server or browser? Server. In browser, what is stored? What is stored? ID, session ID. Can we see that session ID? Session ID I'm saying. We can see. See, double click on three dots. See, click on three dots. Click on settings. Cookies and site permissions. Manage and delete cookies. See all cookies. Here. One cookie. Localhost. One cookie. Expand. Session ID. See, here ID created. This is session ID. With this ID, it will understand the browser. It will understand the client with this ID. If this ID anybody copy also, nothing will happen. Because with this ID, they cannot see password. With this ID, they cannot see username, this all. This ID for this browser only works. Okay. That ID in that time period only works. Now, this is one more session tracking method. I'll explain. You write the code. Get session.java. Get session.java. Ready, son? Here from session variables it is retrieved. But in this program, session ID is stored in browser cookie variable. But any code written for cookie? No, we didn't write any code. That is default. Let's note down. Is it over? Is it completed? No, note down. In the above example, implicitly cookie variable created and session ID stored in cookie variable. In the above example, implicitly cookie variable created and session ID stored in cookie variable. In the above example, implicitly cookie variable created and session ID stored in cookie variable. Cookie code we are not writing, but cookie created automatically. That's what implicitly created. While writing first program, cookie object we created, but here cookie implicitly created. We written only session code. In the above example, implicitly cookie variable created and session ID is stored in cookie variable. See here, set session.java. Set session.java. Here, set attribute method. Set attribute method. What is the second parameter? Actual parameter? Object. Second parameter is object. I passed S1, S1, S2, S3. These are which type? String type. Which is superclass, which is subclass? Object is superclass, string is subclass. Actually, it takes object. I passed string. String assigned to object. It is called upcasting. It is called upcasting. Okay. So, set attribute method. Set attribute method takes object. I passed S1, S2, S3. That is string. String assigned to object. String assigned to object. It is called upcasting. It is called upcasting. So, it takes object class object, but I passed string class reference. String class reference assigned to object class object. That concept is called upcasting. With upcasting feature, it is valid. That is in last class program. Today program. Here, get attribute method. Get attribute method returns, which type returns? Object. It returns object. But I assign to which class? String. So object returns. I assign to string class. Now it returns object. I assign to string. It is called downcasting. It is called downcasting. So object class object assigned to string class reference. So get attribute method returns object class. assign to string class. So assign to string class. It is down. It is downcasting. But downcasting must be done by programmer explicitly. That is the reason like this we have to write. Okay. If you write like this, then only valid. Got it? So get attribute method returns object class object. Object class object assigned to string class. That is downcasting. Downcasting must be done by programmer explicitly. That's what like this. Okay. See, session tracking programs, 3 programs you have seen. Cookies program, URL rewriting program, session program. This is understanding session methods. One more I given. 3 programs once again I'll execute. You see the output. Cookies. Right click. Run as run on server. Now cookies, URL rewriting also at a time I'll add. Okay, 1 minute. Basics I'll remove. Login I'll remove. Session 1 I'll remove. Now cookies program, URL rating program, session program. 3 programs I'm deploying. Now 3 programs execution I'll show you. First one, it is cookies program. Books.html. I selected 2 books. Submit. Your books are added to cart. Next. Here. Where these books are stored? Browser. In cookie variable. We can see cookies. Triple dot. Settings. Cookies. Manage and delete cookies. See all cookies. Here. See 2 cookies. See book 2, book 3. Book 2. Head for Java. Book 3. SCJP by Kadisera. We can see the cookies. Not secure. It is not secure. Now http:/localhost 8082/URL. URL program. Here I selected 2 books. Submit. Next. Where it is stored? Appended to URL. Directly we can see here. Okay. Now this session 2. Already executed. No? Now session 2. Session 2. Submit. Next. Where these all stored? Server. Server stored, but ID only stored in cookie variable. ID stored in cookie variable. ID we can see. See ID. J session ID, Java session ID. See ID. Now what I'll do, login program is there. In these all programs, I added books. In all programs, I added books. Login program, we added username and password. Login program, we added username and password. Now, login solid. Here, previously URL rewriting code I written. Now, I'll write here, previously URL rewriting. I'll remove this. Welcome. Now, I'll create session. What we have tried? HTTP session. HS equal to request dot get session. HS dot set attribute. Attribute name is uname. Here S1 username. HS dot set attribute. Attribute name is pword. Here S2. Okay. Now it is login solid. Welcome solid. It is welcome solid. We have to retrieve. How to retrieve? Again, HTTP session HS equal to request dot get session false. Here HS dot get attribute name uname. It is downcasting. Explicitly we have to convert string over. Now right click, run on server, save. In session variables, server side, username stored, password also stored. Homepage.html, login, username, password, submit, welcome AAA. But password I want to see. Can we see password? Can we see? No. Where it is stored? Server. If you want, you can see session ID, but password we cannot see. See, session ID we can see. Session ID we can see. See, session ID. This is a session ID, but password we cannot see. It is confidential. It is confidential and stored in server. We cannot see. So that's what, if confidential data is there, this is best approach. Now see, password we cannot see now. In this case, password we cannot see. That's the reason HTTP sessions better if the data is confidential. But it is with cookies. One more with URL reading. Next heading. HTTP sessions with URL rereading. HTTP sessions with URL rereading. In this session tracking method, client state information stored in server memory. In this session tracking method, client state information stored in server memory. In this session tracking method, client state information stored in server memory. In this session tracking method, client state information. Now, in this session tracking method, session ID created by web container and appended to URL to recognize the client. In this session tracking method, session ID created by web container and appended to URL to recognize the client. In this session tracking method, session ID created by web container and appended to URL to recognize the client. Is it over? Here, what will happen? Just observe. Session ID created by web container appended to URL. But in previous program, what is happened? Session ID created and added to browser memory, cookie variable. So, client state information stored in server only. Books are stored in server. Username, password stored in server. Username, password is called client state information. Books called client state information. But both the cases stored in server only. To recognize the client, ID required. That ID previous program stored in browser memory. Now ID appended to URL. Here only one line different. Remaining total program same. One line, only one line. HTTP Servlet response. Write this one. It is used to append a session ID to URL. Encode URL. If you call session ID appended to URL. Just we are not going to add session ID, implicitly added. If you call this method added. Encode URL. It is used to append a session ID to URL. See, only one line. This method you have to call. See, you observe. Same program, I'll modify. Session 2. In that get session, set session. Here, here. Where is URL? In this program, where is URL? Get. This is called URL. Okay. Before this line, you have to write. Now, that method we have to call. What is the method name? Encode URL. Return type string. What you have to write? String s equal to what you have to write? Response dot encode URL. URL, two methods are there. U capital R L small. U capital R L also capital. So either this or this, both are valid. You can use anything. That is, one is old method, one is new method. Whichever you want, you can write. Here, URL you can write. Get. So now here only URL pattern. I written. Now ID appended to this URL pattern here stored. Now S contains URL pattern plus ID. That S you can write here. Now here URL pattern I written. Here what it comes? URL plus session ID comes. So in this method, this is nothing but URL pattern. You write here better. URL pattern. This is nothing but URL plus session ID. So here URL pattern, here URL pattern plus session ID. Here just URL pattern. Here URL pattern plus session ID. This session ID URL pattern I'm placing there in redirect place. See here, it is URL pattern. What S contains? URL pattern plus session ID. That S I'm writing here. But S is a variable, no? Can we write like this? Can we write? No, outright. Double quotes plus. Again here plus double quotes. Over. This is only program. Only one line, that's it. See, right click, run as, run on server, save. Books.html. See, now you observe session ID displayed. Session ID appended to URL. That's what it is displayed in browser. Okay. Now here example. Set session.java. No need to write complete program. No need to write. Okay, little bit only this part you can write. Example, set session.java. Only print writer onwards write it enough. First here. Same as above. Again, same as above. So just one line different, one line additional. Encode URL. So response dot encode URL pattern. Then URL pattern plus session ID comes. That is added here. Is it over? See, suppose same concept I'll apply in login solid here. What we have tried, give me answer. Same concept I want to apply in this program. String sc equal to response dot encode URL. Then here what you have tried? This is login solid program concept. What you have tried? Welcome. Okay. Here what we have tried? This encode URL old method. That's what this is recommended. That is recommended. Now here what we have tried? Yes, over. Now here URL pattern I written. Here URL pattern plus session ID that will display here. Now see login program. Here homepage.html login, see username, password, submit. See here session ID. Now next write it HTTP sessions with cookies versus HTTP sessions with URL rereading. HTTP sessions with cookies versus HTTP sessions with URL rereading. Here, is it required to write? Is it required to write plus symbols? No, it is only string required. It takes string, here string. But in previous program, this program, here's other code also is there. That's what plus, yes, plus. But here, only S you can write. No. HTTP sessions with cookies versus HTTP sessions with URL reading. One side, HTTP session with cookies. One more side, HTTP sessions with URL rereading. HTTP sessions with cookies versus HTTP sessions with URL rereading. Here, client state information, nothing but in previous programs, books, username, password. Where it is stored? Server. Here also server only. Session tracking method same. To recognize the client only, cookies URL heading we are using. So right here, in this session tracking method, client state information stored in server memory. In this session tracking method, client state information stored in server memory. In this session tracking method also, client state information stored in server memory. Both the cases, this first point is same. No change. Now, HTTP session with cookie site. Session ID where it is stored? Browser memory in cookie variable. Second, right side, appended to URL. That is different. Now, here, session ID created by web container and stored in cookie variable at client side. Here also, here session ID created by web container here session ID created by web container and appended to URL. This session tracking method fails if the cookies are disabled. This session tracking method always works. So this session tracking method fails if the cookies are disabled. If we set disable mode in cookies, it will not work, but this will always works. Now, 3 session tracking methods completed. Cookies, URL rating, HTTP sessions. Okay. Here, HTTP session with cookies, HTTP session with URL rating, I compared. But cookies and sessions also we can compare. First one, third one. That is next, write it. Cookies versus sessions. Cookies versus sessions. Sessions nothing but HTTP sessions only. Okay. One side cookies. One more side sessions. One side cookies, one more side sessions. Now, what is cookie? What is cookie? Piece of information stored in browser memory. Okay. A cookie is a piece of information stored in browser memory. A cookie is a piece of information stored in browser memory. Okay. A session is a piece of information. Stored in server memory. A cookie is a piece of information stored in browser memory. A session is a piece of information stored in server memory. This is first difference. Now, cookie constructor you studied. How many parameters are there? 2 parameters. Which type? String type. Sessions set attribute method you have seen. 2 parameters. First parameter which type? Second parameter object. Here any type of data you can pass. Session side. Cookie side only string. Not done. It supports string type data only. It supports all types of data. Here size of the memory. Here size of the memory is limited. Here size of the memory is not limited. So here cookies limitation is their size. Here size of the memory is limited. Here size of the memory is not limited. When cookies are vanished, whenever browser window is closed. When sessions are vanished, after 30 minutes. Already given notes. Here by default cookies are vanished whenever browser window is closed. Here by default cookies are vanished whenever browser window is closed. Here by default sessions are vanished after 30 minutes. In Tomcat server. Here by default cookies are vanished whenever browser window is closed. Here by default sessions are vanished after 30 minutes in Tomcat server. That may be server, depends upon server. Memory time will be different. Is it possible to set the time interval? Which method we use? Set max age. Here is it possible to set the time interval? Here also possible. What is the method? Set max inactive interval. Method I given, methods, separate methods purpose one program I taught. No done. Here it is possible to set the time interval by using set max age method of cookie class. Here also it is possible to set the time interval by using set max inactive interval. Here also it is possible to set the time interval by using set max inactive interval method of HTTP session interface. Here it is possible to set the time interval by using set max age method of cookie class. Here also it is possible to set the time interval by using set max inactive interval method of HTTP session interface. Now, here by default cookies are vanished whenever browser window is closed. Here by default sessions are vanished after 30 minutes. Here it is possible to set the time interval by using set max age method of cookie class. Here also it is possible to set the time interval by using set max inactive interval method of HTTP session interface. Now, which are secure? Cookies or sessions? Sessions. Cookies not secure. Cookies are not secure because your cookies are not secure because stored at client side. Sessions are secure because stored at server side. Cookies are not secure because stored at client side. Sessions are secure because stored at server side. Cookies are not secure because stored at client side. Sessions are secure because stored at server side. Can we implement cookies independently? Can we implement sessions independently? No. Next, write it. This session tracking method can be implemented independently. This session tracking method always depending on another session tracking method. This session tracking method can be implemented independently. This session tracking method always depending on another session tracking method. Cookie side, is it ID created? No. Session side? Yes. In this session tracking method, session ID not created. In this session tracking method, session ID is not created. In this session tracking method, session ID created by web container. In this session tracking method, session ID is not created. In this session tracking method, session ID created by web container. See, most of the times in interview, they'll ask about these differences only. Cookies sessions. Is it over? See, cookies versus sessions. Cookies is the first session tracking method. Sessions is a third session tracking method. HTTP sessions. HTTP sessions or sessions, both are same. A cookie is a piece of information stored in browser memory. A session is a piece of information stored in server memory. That is first difference. It supports only string because cookie constructor takes second parameter string only. It supports all types of data because set attribute method takes second parameter object type. Object place, can I pass employee? Yes. Can I pass student object? Any class you can pass. That's what all supports. But string means string subclass is not there. String is a final class. Subclasses are not there. Here size of the memory limited because stored in client system browser memory. Browser purpose, some memory allocated. That much memory only we can use. Here size, there is no limit. N number of elements, n number of sessions. By default, cookies are vanished whenever browser window is closed. Here by default, sessions are vanished after 30 minutes. Here, if you want to set the time interval less or more, possible. Set max age. Here possible. Less or more. Less than 30 also possible. More than 30 also possible. Set max inactive interval. It is cookie class. Here HTTP session interface. Cookies are not secure because stored at client side anybody can see. Sessions are secure. Stored at server side no one can see. This session tracking method we can implement independently, but it is not possible. It is depending on either cookies or URL rewriting. It is ID is not created. Here ID created. Now 1, 2, 3. These three you studied. This is not completed. Fourth one. Actually, according to Sowlet's latest specification, this session tracking method is removed because it requires only HTML code. That's what it is removed. Now, these three only they given in latest specification. But this is also I'll teach. They may ask in interview. That's what you have to learn. Now, first, second, third. In these three, all differences, all concepts you studied. Based on all, which one is better? First one or second one or third one? Third one better. HDP sessions. Why HDP sessions better? Secure. Confidential data also we can store. No one can see your data. Server side stored. No one can see. So HDP sessions is best. Okay. But suppose confidential data is there. Then compulsory third one only you're right. Okay. Suppose data is not confidential. Then also third one you can write. Not a problem. Okay. But why remaining two? But the remaining two also not outdated. Cookies also not outdated. URL rewriting also not outdated. Now you've seen all concepts after studying, you selected sessions is best. Okay. Now based on all characteristics, size also there is no limit. Setting time interval also possible. And any type of data we can store and secure. Based on all concepts, third session tracking method is best. But why first and second not outdated required? Okay. Now, third session tracking method, can we implement independently? No. Either first or second required. In first and second, which is better? Cookie is better or URL reading better? Now, session tracking method definitely will select this one. This is the best option. This is the best option. With cookies better or with URL reading better? With cookies or with URL reading? Few people are giving cookies. Few students are giving URL reading. Those who selected cookies, what is the problem with URL reading? Those who selected URL reading, what is the problem with cookies? Now, which session tracking method we selected? Third one. Third one we selected. Third one we cannot implement independently. Either this one required or this one required. In these two, which one is better? See, different answers coming. Okay. In these three, which is better? I asked. Almost all people given third one only. 100% people selected third one. That is okay. But this one we cannot implement independently. Now, either cookies required or URL rewriting required. Which one is better? If those who selected cookies, why cookies better? Those who selected URL reading, why URL reading better? What is that? URL reading always works. That's what you selected. That is better. Those who selected cookies, what is it? Time interval for sessions will set because we already selected third. Third one we selected, no? Third one set max inactive interval, time interval we can set. Those who selected cookies, why you selected cookies? What is it? I didn't get your answer. By default created. No need to write the code. Okay. By default, no need to write cookie code. Cookie automatically created implicitly. That's what you selected. But cookies are disabled. Then what will happen? It doesn't work. That's what URL rating better. Okay. Now, in three session tracking method, which one is better? HTTP session better because secure. But can we implement only this one independently? Either cookies required, URL rating required. Which one is better? This is we are using with this one only. That's what it is not outdated. Okay. But cookies also not outdated. Why cookies are not outdated? We'll see tomorrow. Okay. Tomorrow I'll explain. It takes time. Tomorrow I'll see continuation. So we can add. Now we'll see continuation tomorrow.